Beja, sentinel of the Alentejo where ancient roots meet golden plains. Welcome to SpeakTop. Explore the real stories of Portugal, city by city. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to join us on this journey through history. Chapter 1. Echoes of Empires: The Real History of Beja. Perched atop a hill in the heart of Portugal's Alentejo region, Beja stands as a living testament to the many civilizations that have left their mark on the Iberian Peninsula. This ancient city, with its commanding views over the surrounding plains, has been a silent witness to over 2 millennia of history, from Roman conquerors to Moorish rulers, from medieval Christian kingdoms to modern Portugal. The story of Beja begins long before recorded history, with archaeological evidence suggesting human habitation in the area dating back to the Neolithic period. However, it was during the Iron Age that the settlement began to gain prominence, developing into an important center for the Celtic tribes that inhabited the region. The arrival of the Romans in the 2nd century BC marked a turning point in Beja's history. The Romans recognized the strategic importance of the site and established a significant settlement here, which they named Pax Julia. Founded around 31 BC, possibly by Julius Caesar himself or by Octavius Augustus in his honor, Pax Julia quickly grew into one of the most important cities in Roman Lusitania. Under Roman rule, Pax Julia flourished. The city was granted the status of a Roman municipium, indicating its importance within the empire. It became a major administrative center and a hub for the region's rich agricultural produce. The Romans left their mark on the city in numerous ways, from the layout of its streets to the construction of important buildings and infrastructure. The remains of Roman walls, roads, and buildings can still be seen in Beja today, testament to this influential period in the city's history. With the decline of the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD, Beja, like much of the Iberian Peninsula, entered a period of upheaval. The city was conquered by successive Germanic tribes, including the Alans, Vandals, and finally the Visigoths. Despite these changes in rulership, Beja remained an important urban center, even serving as the seat of a Visigothic bishopric. The arrival of the Moors in 711 AD brought another significant change to Beja. Under Islamic rule, the city, now known as Beja, continued to prosper. The Moors introduced new agricultural techniques, expanded irrigation systems, and fostered a culture of learning and artistic expression. This period left an indelible mark on Beja's culture and architecture, traces of which can still be seen today in the city's narrow, winding streets and in elements of its traditional crafts and cuisine. The Christian Reconquista reached Beja in 1162, when the city was taken by Portuguese forces under the command of King Afonso Henriques. However, this conquest was short-lived, and Beja changed hands several times over the next century. It wasn't until 1234 that the city was definitively conquered by King Sancho II and incorporated into the Kingdom of Portugal. Following the Christian reconquest, Beja entered a new phase in its history. The city was granted a royal charter in 1254 by King Afonso III, which brought new privileges and spurred economic development. This period saw the construction of many of Beja's most significant medieval buildings, including the Castle of Beja and several churches. The 15th and 16th centuries were a time of particular prosperity for Beja. The city benefited from Portugal's maritime explorations and the wealth that flowed into the country as a result. It was during this period that many of Beja's grand manor houses were built, reflecting the wealth and status of the city's noble families. One of the most famous episodes in Beja's history occurred in the 17th century with the tragic love story of Sister Mariana Alcafarado. A nun in the convent of the Conception, she allegedly wrote a series of passionate letters to a French officer, which later became famous as the Portuguese letters, and are considered a masterpiece of Portuguese literature. The 18th and 19th centuries brought both challenges and changes to Beja. The city suffered during the Peninsular War, when it was occupied by French troops. However, it also saw modernization, with the arrival of the railway in 1864 connecting Beja more closely to the rest of Portugal. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were marked by agricultural reform and social change. The Alentejo region, including Beja, was at the forefront of struggles for land reform and workers' rights. This period shaped much of the political and social character of the city that persists to this day. The establishment of the Estado Novo dictatorship in 1933 brought a period of repression and economic stagnation to Beja, as it did to much of Portugal. However, the city played a role in the resistance to the regime, most notably in the failed military uprising of 1961, known as the Beja Revolt. The Carnation Revolution of 1974, which restored democracy to Portugal, brought new opportunities and challenges to Beja. In the decades since, the city has worked to preserve its rich heritage, while also modernizing and diversifying its economy. The establishment of the Beja Polytechnic Institute in 1979 marked an important step in the city's development, bringing new educational opportunities and helping to stem the tide of youth migration to larger cities. Today, Beja stands as a city that proudly embraces its long and varied history while looking to the future. Its ancient streets and monuments tell the story of Roman conquerors, Moorish emirs, Portuguese kings, and ordinary citizens who have called this place home over the centuries. From its hilltop perch, Beja continues to watch over the golden plains of the Alentejo, a sentinel of history in a rapidly changing world. As we walk through the streets of Beja today, we're not just observing a city, we're experiencing a living museum that spans over 2,000 years of human civilization. Each stone, each building, each tradition carries within it the echoes of the many peoples and cultures that have shaped this remarkable place. In Beja, the past is not a distant memory but a constant presence, informing and enriching the present and pointing the way to a future that honors its deep historical roots. Chapter 2: Rhythms of the Alentejo, the rich cultural tapestry of Beja. Beja's culture is a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of ancient traditions, rural wisdom, and a deep connection to the land. Situated in the heart of the Alentejo, one of Portugal's most distinctive regions, Beja embodies a way of life that moves to a slower, more deliberate rhythm, shaped by centuries of agricultural tradition and a history that stretches back to pre-Roman times. At the core of Beja's cultural identity is its relationship with the land. The vast, undulating plains of the Alentejo, with their golden wheat fields, olive groves, and cork oak forests, have shaped not only the economy of the region but also its character. This agricultural heritage is reflected in every aspect of Beja's culture, from its cuisine to its festivals, from its traditional crafts to its music. The cuisine of Beja is a testament to the richness of the Alentejo soil and the ingenuity of its people. Hearty and flavorful, Alentejan cuisine is often described as honest food, simple in preparation but rich in taste. Iconic dishes include a corda, a bread soup often served with egg, migas, a dish made from leftover bread, garlic, and olive oil, and various pork-based dishes, reflecting the importance of the black Iberian pig in the region. The wines of the Alentejo, known for their full-body character, are an integral part of the local gastronomy and culture. Beja's cultural calendar is punctuated by numerous festivals and events that celebrate its heritage and agricultural cycles. The Oba Beja, held annually in April, is one of the largest agricultural fairs in Portugal, showcasing the best of Alentejan products and livestock. The Feira de São Lourenço in August combines religious devotion with a celebration of local crafts and produce. These events not only attract visitors, but also serve to strengthen community bonds and preserve local traditions. Music plays a crucial role in Beja's cultural life. The haunting melodies of Cante Alentejano, a form of polyphonic singing unique to the Alentejo, can often be heard in the city's taverns and during festive occasions. This UNESCO-recognized intangible cultural heritage is more than just a musical style. It's a powerful expression of Alentejan identity and a repository of communal memory and wisdom. The traditional crafts of Beja reflect both the region's resources and its history. Pottery has been practiced in the area since pre-Roman times, with the distinctive red clay of the region giving Alentejan ceramics their characteristic appearance. Other important crafts include weaving, with the creation of colorful blankets and rugs, and the working of cork, abundantly available from the region's cork oak forests. Religion, particularly Catholicism, has played a significant role in shaping Beja's culture. The city's numerous churches and convents are not just architectural landmarks, but centers of community life and bearers of local legends and traditions. The story of Sister Mariana Alcafaredo, the 17th-century nun whose passionate letters became a classic of Portuguese literature, has become an integral part of Beja's romantic mythology. The influence of Beja's long and varied history can be seen in its cultural expressions. The legacy of Roman and Moorish rule is evident not just in the city's monuments, but in elements of its language, customs, and artistic traditions. The city's Jewish heritage, though less visible, has also left its mark, particularly in certain neighborhoods and family names. Education and intellectual life have long been important aspects of Beja's culture. The city has a proud tradition of producing notable writers, artists, and thinkers. The establishment of the Beja Polytechnic Institute in 1979 brought new vitality to the city's intellectual scene, attracting students and researchers and fostering innovation in fields such as agronomy and environmental science. The concept of time in Beja, as in much of the Alentejo, seems to move at a different pace from the rest of the world. This Alentejan time is not about laziness, but rather a different approach to life that values quality over speed, depth over superficiality. This cultural trait is reflected in the local saying, "No Alentejo, nos neo timos pressa, timos a tempo." In the Alentejo, we're not in a hurry, we just have time. Beja's approach to progress and modernity is characterized by a desire to move forward while preserving the best of its traditions. This can be seen in efforts to adapt traditional crafts for contemporary markets, in the modernization of agricultural practices while maintaining respect for the land, and in the restoration of historic buildings for new uses. The city's cultural landscape is also shaped by its environment. The vast open spaces of the Alentejo, the quality of its light, and the dramatic changes brought by the seasons have inspired generations of artists, writers, and musicians. The concept of saudade, that uniquely Portuguese sense of melancholic longing, finds powerful expression in the golden expanses of the Alentejan plains. In recent years, Beja has been working to position itself as a cultural tourism destination, leveraging its rich heritage and authentic experiences to attract visitors seeking an alternative to mass tourism. This has led to a renewed appreciation of local traditions and a revitalization of cultural activities. The cultural life of Beja is not confined to its historic center. The surrounding rural areas, with their Monte farms and small villages, are integral to the city's cultural identity. Many urban dwellers maintain strong connections to these rural roots, returning to ancestral villages for holidays and maintaining agricultural traditions. As we immerse ourselves in the cultural life of Beja, we're struck by the deep sense of continuity with the past, the strong connection to the land, and the unhurried pace of life. From the polyphonic harmonies of Cante Alentejano echoing through the streets, to the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from local bakeries, from the clinking of glasses filled with rich local wine to the lively discussions in town squares, Beja's culture is a living, breathing entity that continues to evolve, while remaining deeply rooted in its unique history and geography. This cultural landscape is perhaps best symbolized by the vast Atlantean sky, which seems to stretch endlessly over the Golden Plains, unchanging yet ever-changing, a constant presence that has witnessed the unfolding of Beja's story over millennia. It's a culture that celebrates its past while looking to the future, that values both tradition and innovation, and that continues to captivate and inspire all who experience it. Chapter 3: Monuments and Memories, a journey through Beja's landmarks. Beja, with its commanding position atop a hill in the Alentejo Plains, offers a rich tapestry of landmarks that tell the story of its long and varied history. From Roman ruins to medieval castles, from ornate churches to museums housing treasures from various epochs, Beja's landmarks offer visitors a journey through time and a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped this ancient city. Our exploration of Beja's landmarks begins at its most iconic structure, the Castle of Beja. Perched at the highest point of the city, this imposing fortress has watched over Beja since the 13th century. Built on the site of earlier Roman and Moorish fortifications, the castle was a key defensive structure during the Christian Reconquista. Today, its well-preserved walls and towers offer panoramic views over the city and the surrounding Alentejo Plains. The castle's keep, standing at 40 meters high, is the tallest medieval military structure in Portugal and serves as a symbol of Beja's enduring strength. Adjacent to the castle lies another of Beja's most significant landmarks, the Church of Santo Amaro. This small, unassuming building is one of the finest examples of Visigothic architecture in the Iberian Peninsula. Dating back to the 6th century, the church houses a remarkable collection of Visigothic artifacts, including decorated pillar capitals and a rare intact altar stone. Its survival through centuries of conflict and change makes it a unique window into an often overlooked period of Beja's history. Descending from the castle hill, we come to the Praça da República, Beja's main square and the heart of its civic life. The square is dominated by the Church of Nossa Senhora de Conceição, the city's cathedral. Built in the 15th century, the church's simple Gothic exterior belies a richly decorated interior, featuring beautiful azulejo tile work and an impressive Baroque altar. Just off the main square, we find one of Beja's most intriguing landmarks, the Regional Museum of Beja, housed in the convent of Our Lady of the Conception. This 16th century convent is famous as the home of Sister Mariana Alcafaredo, whose passionate letters to a French officer became a classic of Portuguese literature. Today, the convent houses a rich collection of art and artifacts, including Roman mosaics, medieval sculptures, and a notable collection of 16th and 17th century paintings. The convent's church is a masterpiece of Baroque art, with its walls covered in intricate gilt woodwork in blue and white azulejo tiles. The convent's cloisters, with their serene atmosphere and beautiful architectural details, offer a peaceful respite from the bustle of the city. Another religious landmark of note is the Church of Santa Maria de Feira. This 15th century church is renowned for its Manueline portal, a fine example of the ornate architectural style that flourished during Portugal's Age of Discoveries. The church's interior houses several important works of religious art. For those interested in Beja's Roman past, the ruins of the Roman Villa of Pisos, located a few kilometers outside the city, are well worth a visit. This extensive archaeological site offers a glimpse into rural life during the Roman period, with well-preserved mosaics and the remains of thermal baths. Back in the city center, the Largo de Santa Maria offers a charming ensemble of historic buildings, including the old Episcopal Palace and the Church of Santa Maria. This square, with its traditional Atlantean architecture and relaxed atmosphere, perfectly encapsulates the character of Old Beja. The Jorge Vieira Museum, housed in a beautifully restored 15th century building, is dedicated to the work of one of Portugal's most important 20th century sculptors. Vieira, a native of Beja, is known for his abstract sculptures that draw inspiration from the forms and rhythms of the Alentejo landscape. Beja's Jewish heritage is commemorated in the Sephardic Nucleus, a small museum located in what was once the city's Jewish quarter. Although little remains of the medieval synagogue, the museum offers insights into the life of Beja's Jewish community before their expulsion in the late 15th century. Thanks for watching SpeakTop. We hope you enjoyed learning about the history, culture, and beautiful landmarks of Portugal's cities. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating stories from across the country. See you next time on SpeakTop.